Today we have the sister of mine. Her name is Kalai Manikam, which is also known as Manikam. And she has been with the company, I think, since 2004? 2005, okay. So today we're going to have a very casual conversation. I'm not going to talk so much about the business per se, but I want to know the lady behind the business. Because you and I have worked closely together since, I was 2008. So,
yes.
And you were very friendly when I first met you. You still are very friendly, high energy. But let's take a step back to where it all started. You grew up in a very small town.
Yes, I'm a small town girl.
And I heard that you were the first female engineer in that small town.
Yes, and from my school especially, no one before me has done engineering.
Yeah.
So the whole school got so excited, the town got excited.
Everybody was in a shock.
I was in shock because those days back then, okay, it was then back then I think it was 1993.
Man, you look so young. How is that possible?
1993, that's where I went to the university for my first degree.
Okay.
Yeah, and everyone was like, hey, this engineering is not for a lady.
That's what they said?
Yeah.
And who's saying this? The
family,
faculty?
My parents didn't understand why I wanted to do that.
Wow.
But
and why did you want to do it?
Firstly, it was because it came with a scholarship. Full scholarship, and I know I'm the eldest, and if I take the scholarship, my dad doesn't have to worry about me and my finances. And coming from a small town, it is always the engineers, doctors, and lawyers are looked up upon.
Right.
So I'm like, hey, if I don't get the medical scholarship, engineering scholarship is done deal. I'm going, it's sealed. That's the reason why I took that. Didn't know what's in for me. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what to expect. But just the fact that my father doesn't have to pay for my education made me feel like I don't have to burden him. So let me take the responsibility. That's how I started my journey.
And still, mom and dad were not exactly encouraging at that
They were
moment?
not sure.
Not sure.
But I think my dad was kind of like, all right, if they're going to give you money to study, you could go with it.
Yeah, so he's like, okay, it's not going to hurt my wallet.
Yeah. I could focus on the rest because I have two younger ones. I could focus on them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the inspiration to be an engineer didn't really come from wanting to understand how the world works. It was more or less just to not be a burden, not be a financial burden to your family.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's
it
was
incredible.
also programmed that I had to go to the university.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I'm the first one in my entire family actually to go to the university.
Wow.
So I had that responsibility to basically now to set the path for the family. So my dad kept saying, look, if you go to the university, not only your brothers and sisters, but your entire cousins and the rest of the family have someone to follow.
Right.
So it is, I think, the sense of responsibility, wanting to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what pushed me. I didn't know what exactly it was, but I wanted to take that path.
Trailblazer comes to mind. You are a trailblazer.
I suppose.
Yeah. And to that point, just jumping kind of from engineering school to the business, is it also true that you're a trailblazer in Africa? You were one of the first or the first?
I think I was among the first outside Africa who actually came into Africa.
Right.
And I think I'm also the one who has sustained this African network for all these years.
16 years, right?
Yes, 16 years.
So take me back to, you landed in Uganda, in Kampala?
That was my first city, yes.
First city. And so take me back to that when you're landing in Kampala. What is going through your mind when you're getting off the plane?
I don't know. You see, I was sitting in a training and it was VP Ranjit.
Right.
And VP Ranjit is a visionary man. Yeah. And he said, this friend who's sitting next to you. So I had a friend from Uganda was next, VC Hajara, next to me and said, she could break through Africa for you. This one person could be thousands and thousands one day for you. So take care of your friend. So to me, that hope that maybe Africa could be a new thing, could be my thing. And I just was excited that I could try something new. Let's just try it. Right. I don't know how far I can come. So I pushed through because of that.
Yeah, look how far you've come. It's been 16 years.
Exactly.
And I think you're in Africa, what, every 6 months or every year?
I used to, before the pandemic, every once in 2 months I was in Africa.
Yeah, that's right.
But now today with the Zoom, we are able to connect every day. Yeah. But looking back, Trevor, I think one of the best things I've done in this business was to go to Africa.
Really?
Really.
Yeah. And how has the engineering pedigree helped you in managing your business?
Managing my business?
Or understanding the business, or helping others understand the business?
No, I actually did a master's in engineering.
Yeah.
Okay, I think especially in opening new market, it really helped me to basically, people look at you and say, oh, you're a lady engineer. She must know something.
Credibility.
So I took it as a positive, take whatever that plus things that you have, your advantage. And I was like, people want to listen because I'm a lady engineer. Right. So I used my card.
You pulled the engineer card.
Yes.
The female engineer card.
Yes. But I think beyond that, especially with our products, the wellness range of products, it really helped me to understand more, because I was into this mode of let's study, let's break it down, let's like even our home pure Nova 9-stage filtration. What are we talking about? Let me break it down. Let me understand. Let me make it simple, because engineers always like to break things down and make it simpler.
Right.
That basically helped me to put structure in place.
Amazing. The inspiration that you've brought to, the market in Africa, also in Malaysia, right? What is the impact that you've seen after being the Trailblazer as the first female engineer in your town? What did you see happen after that? Did you see more female engineers coming to the school? Or
today, yes, I have my family members who are engineers.
Right.
Now they think it's possible. It's not something that is, impossible for someone to do things that before that it was like not norm. Today, basically, there's so many engineers, so many ladies are coming up, know?
Yeah. What is one of the most inspiring stories you've heard from the young female engineers that are just getting started? What's a powerful story?
It's kind of like pride.
Pride.
For many young women, I see, and I talk to them, and they're like, "Hey, I can do this," And when they do this, usually they come out feeling that I can conquer quite a bit of things.
Yeah.
That's the feeling that comes with it. I have a sister-in-law who's actually going to Germany to do a master's in engineering, actually. And she's like, I just feel so good that I could do something that many people think it's tough, So it's really nice to see that, actually.
I have an 8-year-old daughter, as you know, Ariana. And,
yes.
I've told her she has two choices, either engineering or finance. So she needs to either understand the world and how it works, or understand money and how it works. So hopefully, when she's making her choice for university, she'll spend some time with you, and you can give her a bit of a pep talk. Are you doing a lot of inspirational speeches and talks with young girls, whether it's in the business or whether it's in engineering in the field?
I always find opportunity at every opportunity I get that I could basically inspire, especially young women, to become who they want to become and not to limit themselves. You see, Trevor, I came from a family that has a lot of limitation to what a woman should be and should not be. You see, I'm a third generation Indian in Malaysia. Okay, and my parents never had a formal education, so they had a lot of expectation on us, and especially me being the eldest. So there were a lot of rules. You cannot do that. You cannot be seen outside. You cannot be heard. As a woman's voice has to be soft, gentle. I wasn't anything like that. To the extent that when your uncles and dad are sitting on the sofa, you sit on the floor. You cannot be seen overpowering and all that. And there was a path that was thought this is the path it has to be. So you got to go to college if you can, or most importantly, you got to get married at certain age. You get to have baby at certain age and be a mother. If no, the role of women, it's undefined. But I broke all that. All that rules. I don't know whether I did it because I just wanted to break it, or I was really into that, wanting to find my path. And I must say that one thing my parents did right was they limited my TV time. There was no TV time at home. So the only access I had was my uncle's TV that he used to watch a lot of talk shows back then on finance, global issue, and he used to watch Oprah Winfrey talk show every day.
Wow.
So as a young girl, I used to sit there and watch her and say, wow, wow, wow. I could be somebody. I could be somebody. I could somebody. So that thing that stuck in me, I think I even found QNET because of that. I knew I wanted to be somebody, although I didn't know what's the definition of somebody back then.
Right.
Okay, it evolves what I wanted back then and today. But so today, every chance I get with any young girls or even the young guys, I just tell them, find your path, do what you want to do, and don't set yourself to the timeline people have given around you, even if your family doesn't understand.
Right. So going through that journey from 93, let's say 93 until today, I'm certain that you've encountered significant challenges, barriers, obstacles. What's one that comes to mind that almost broke you, but you just knew that I can overcome this, and you overcame it?
Again, it's family. You see, I started it because of the family. And interestingly, sometimes you want to do it for the family, and the family becomes the biggest obstacle. My dad actually told me if I showed a plan in my house, he will throw me out on the street.
Right.
Trevor, I had to stop talking to my dad for 6 months just to get myself stronger in the business and not to be influenced by him. Because I knew he didn't understand. But I knew I had to do. Because the education he gave me saved me to certain levels, certain years. But I know I was thinking about 10, 20 years. What would I do in the 20 years? So I was doing for the 20 years ahead. That's why I started this business. For them, in fact, for my parents. Because I knew they don't have funds, they're going to retire, they will lose their income. What do they do? So I didn't want them to grow old in misery, So it was for them. But then my dad didn't understand. Fighting them every day. Doing what is not norm. Like going out for presentations, being out late night, sitting in environment with guys, training. And I'm saying I'm in a training. And then there are clips that goes that people are dancing. And this is our training. I'm at VCon. Why is it so many people? Why do you go? Why do you travel? Why do you do that? How would you travel alone? Everything was an obstacle. So my biggest battle and my biggest win was turning them into believers to what I do and the path I chose.
And how was that? Was it just through consistency, sheer dedication,
it is
intensity? What is it?
3 things. One, I think it was trying to always do the talk with them.
So communication. Engagement.
I remember sitting my dad down in 2010. That was like, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to sit with him because I wanted to bring them over to live with me so I could give them better choices. But now I have to now manage them also. So I sat with my dad. I said, I appreciate everything you've done for me. I'm your daughter. I would not be here if not for you. But 10 years, 20 years down the road, I want to be able to just take any amount of money and do anything for anyone. So I'm preparing. The world is changing, Dad. The good thing about my dad, he reads and he writes. So I gave him information. So it's like a presentation I had to do with my dad. It's like, this is information. This is happening. This is happening. Daddy, we need to be prepared. Allow me to do and I will not fail you. So that one talk, the talk that continuously, and sometimes I had to use a hard approach. I tell my mom in more fun way, a little bit more naughty, say, Mommy, the chair you're sitting is from QNET. The bed you sleep is from QNET. This house is from QNET. Those things you want to buy is from QNET. So stop talking bad things about my QNET, okay? So that was to mom.
A little bit of tough love.
Yes, tough love to mom. I really do that. Today my mom is spoiled, Trevor. She just asks for things. But I like, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, that's what moms deserve.
Yes, that's what I wanted. And then basically to push myself to work harder, I need to prove to them.
Right.
Okay. And I think over the years, our founders training, Dato Sri, the Zone, Chief, ISB, also made me a better person. So they saw me also accommodating the patients, trying not to get angry with them, understanding more than being understood. So I applied everything here to the home. and the people around. So they saw that and they were like, this is my daughter.
Yeah.
I can trust.
Yeah.
I can trust. No, there is even this, my sister Tipa is already in the business and she builds really seriously today and she's a serious leader. Yeah. They even said, stop spoiling your sister. I already got one spoiled. But today they said the best thing you did was to bring her along.
Right.
And don't let her go.
Right.
So that was
Amazing.
the journey.
Amazing.
Yeah, the
what
secret.
What is your secret to consistency?
Yes, the secret. I firstly, I think I read a lot. I read a lot. I listen to a lot of podcasts. And I put myself in that association of the environment at every chance I get. And I also think I took another step to really to understand my upbringing, to make peace with that, to let that go. Even the struggle I had early days with my leaders, up, down, side, all the leaders and the battles that I went through, to make sense of that. Yeah. And find a fresh point to move forward with it, to turn my obstacle into strength instead of just challenges into strength, instead of just being a challenging chapter in my life. So to find a perspective that gives me that strength to move forward. That is why sometimes I can just look at something and say, hey, let's get started. And everyone is like, we're still talking about yesterday. I'm done with yesterday. I am not looking at yesterday. I'm done with all that.
Yeah.
And I don't really think about it either. Until someone asks me, then I'm like, oh yeah, I remember the first 2 weeks in Africa. I didn't have money to stay in a hotel. I stayed in someone's house with no running water and electricity. I don't think about that. I was going through all that, willing to go through that because I wasn't thinking about that. Right. I don't mind coming late at night after presentation and all we got is a bucket of water to shower, and next day probably just eat eggs because there's nothing I could buy with the money because I didn't have the money. All my money went to the flight. But I don't sit down and think about it because I'm already thinking about what tomorrow could be. What's the next thing.
Amazing. Kalai, thank you so much. Thank you so much for opening up the book of Kalai's life to us and sharing some insightful stories. I'm sure everybody listening today has been inspired and truly do appreciate what you have done with us and the company. And I look forward to the next 25 years with you, okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you for taking time to talk to me.
All the best. Thank you so much for listening.